Algorithmic cruelty. It sounds like an AI-generated metal band, where in reality it's where an algorithm has been unintentionally cruel. Like when your mum asks you at Christmas if you put weight on. The most recent examples include Spotify playing songs to people who listen to them on repeat after a breakup, and Facebook's year in review showing a father an image of his dead child. Keep it light. Fair enough. But why does this happen, and what can we do about it? I'm Simon Caine, and these are my terms of service. Part 1. Why does algorithmic cruelty happen? Algorithms are just code, and much like TfL's delayed service, most of them aim just to keep you on the platform for as long as possible, even if they don't understand why. This is both so advertisers can show you stuff they want to sell you, but also so the platform can get more data on you to know what to show you in the future to keep you on the platform for longer. The more you use the platform, the more data they have, the more they know what to show you to keep you on the platform, repeat until death. The problem is the algorithms that create year-in reviews are stupid. They simply look for the content you engaged with most, with no context as to why you might have engaged with it. Most platforms don't like it when you have any control over your context. They like to own the context so they can manipulate it for their own profit. It's annoying because most posts that do the best on social media evoke support or celebration, like getting married or someone winning some new work or a pet dying. The code doesn't understand why. They just know that this was an engaging memory. So when we try nicely to support a friend who's mourning the death of a loved one of the nicest things you can do on social media, Facebook swoops in and ruins it by adding dancing animations around it.
I'm Ron Burgundy. You stay classy, San Diego.
And go fuck yourself, Zuckerberg. Spotify's algorithm doesn't know why you listen to certain albums on repeat, but when it comes to their yearly Wrapped feature, it just shows you Adele, forgetting the fact that statistically you were going through a breakup, sending you down a rabbit hole of sadness until you realise that she was lying, and you will never find someone like you. A few years ago, the British supermarket chain Sainsbury's used customers' club card data to tell them if they were the top buyer of certain products. Don't judge me, I was having a stressful year. Beyond social networks, more and more e-commerce sites are using our data and profiles of people like us to work out what to advertise to us better. This has led to some people getting ads for weddings after they called theirs off, or some mothers who gave birth to stillborn babies getting adverts for kids for the next 18 years. Something has to change. Part 2. Examples of algorithmic cruelty. Some examples of algorithmic cruelty are as obvious as that toupee your uncle thinks he's styling out, like year in review. Others are a bit more hidden or didn't impact you and so you wouldn't have seen them as cruel. Here's my top 5 examples of algorithmic cruelty that you've probably come into contact with. In at number 5, showing Mother's Day or Father's Day ads to people whose parents have died. Interestingly, this one has shifted quite a lot in the last few years, with a lot of brands giving people the option to opt out of seeing Mother's Day emails or adverts. At number 4, Facebook suggesting you friend your ex's new lover. Facebook does this because it can see that you and your ex have talked or engaged a lot in the past, overlooking the fact that you were probably arguing over who gets to keep the kids. Spoiler, you can have them, Stacey. Facebook then assumes you might know your ex's new lover because your ex is engaging a lot with them. I mean, you might know their new partner. In my case, I thought I knew them really well. I thought I could leave them alone for 5 fucking minutes without him jumping her bones. We've been friends since primary school, Steve. Did that mean nothing to you? At number 3, Google Maps suggesting you visit your ex's house because you've not been there in a while. No shit, Google. I haven't been there due to the restraining order. I'd love to go there. I'm still paying the mortgage on it. But apparently, even though she cheated on me, she gets the house and the dog, and I got the kids. What a win that is! And in at number 2, Google Search celebrates Trans Awareness Day with streamers over shitty anti-trans headlines. I guess some Republicans might celebrate this, but it's not a great look. And in at number 1, Google's smart address book began adding women's stalkers to their speed dial, sensing a high degree of mutual interactivity. They also added stalkers and harassers to the speed dials of victims due to the high amount of mutual engagement, as well as showing ex-clients of sex workers their locations and private posts on the basis they probably knew each other. Remind me again, Google, was your slogan "Don't be evil" or "Fuck off everyone"? Part 3, the value of forgetting. We all need to forget things sometimes. Like, I'm pretty sure all of these people wish journalists would stop writing articles about how off their tech predictions were. Whereas some things are worth remembering, like buying milk or liking this video or subscribing to this channel. Kate Etchhorn wrote the book The End of Forgetting, which describes how this non-consensual external memory system disrupts memory editing that is key to overcoming trauma for the most marginalised among us. The TLDR point I'm trying to make here is that we shouldn't mistake our ability to revisit past experiences or ideas for algorithmic cruelty. To look back on things when you feel comfortable or safe to do so is a really good thing, but to have it forced upon you randomly ruins our ability to move on and develop as people. One allows us to learn from our past and take time to process it. Another is a targeted, forced way to get us to engage for their profit. Dr. Julia Shaw, author of The Memory Illusion, said,
Memory is like a Wikipedia page. When you tell a story, you start somewhere, and that protagonist, usually yourself, has a purpose and a goal, and things happen that make sense, and it's linear. Of course, when you're thinking back, you actually are piecing it back together, and it only gives it meaning because you're going backwards. Social media can, because if you read someone else's Twitter, and you're synthesizing their details and thinking that they're your own, you can essentially, now anyone can hack your memory. They're doing that, and you're doing it yourself as well, because you're sharing only quote, shareable things. So things that you think will get the most likes, things that you think will look good on social media, not necessarily things that are actually the most important to you.
Although interestingly, her morals do conflict with her professional life, as she is not entirely against learning from memory experiments.
You've already signed away your life, accepted the terms and conditions of Facebook. You think you have privacy? Nice try. You think you have control over what's shown on your feed? Not really. So I mean, that's something you've already, it's a contract you've essentially implicitly agreed to. Me as well do studies that actually teach us stuff.
Part 4. What can we do about it? Not a lot. Sadly, when people complain, especially on social media platforms, it kicks off a loop where people heavily engage with that post, keeping them on the platform for longer, and so it's an Ouroboros loop, and as a result, it's unlikely to make them stop creating them. There is an argument that it's the user's fault for posting the sad parts of their lives online. But this feels really insensitive and almost like you're siding with the advertisers. I mean, should parents plan ahead and not upload photos of their children in case they die? When I was studying for my very useful degree in computer science, we learned about garbage in and garbage out, or GIGO. This is where you, the user, put garbage data into the system, and as a result, the system uses that to create a garbage result. Imagine only watching Love Island from birth until your mid-20s. What crap do you think would come out of that person's mouth? But ultimately, the argument is flawed. It implies that we put the garbage on the site, and although we do post a lot of crap online, in reality, the code is garbage, as it's not sensitive to any context. Jonathan Geller, the product manager for Facebook's Year in Review, wrote what he called an apology blog, saying, "I'm sorry that I dropped the internet on its head for Christmas. Me and my team are determined to do better in the future." Reassuring. This has led to some Year in Review features becoming opt-in, like Spotify, where they ask you repeatedly to check yours out. But you don't have to. Facebook changed their like button to allow us to show a wider range of emotions than I could ever hope to express in real life. The hope here is that posts that were tagged overwhelmingly as sad would get excluded from your Year in Review. But given how often people get upset by them, we can assume that these Year Review videos don't take this into account. Also, people often use the love reaction for sad posts in solidarity and support. It's almost like emotions are more complex than robots could handle. To their credit, which is not something I say often, Facebook does have a very hidden feature called On This Day, which allows you to remove posts or people or certain days from these videos. But they make it about as easy to find as the clitoris in Total Darkness.